that I met you, I didn't know what to say.
What's up? It's the CatTalk show on IntellectualRadio.com, and I am Cat, and I am here with the beautiful Wanda B, my co-host, partner in crime. Today, our topic is, can women be true friends? So if you follow me, then you know that I get letters, have conversations with people, get asked questions, discussions. That's my thing. And I have a letter today from a young lady that is having some girl BFF problems.
Uh-oh.
You know how us women are when we, call ourselves being friends, sisters. I consider my friends my sisters. So it kind of takes the friendship to a different level. But that being said, we're going to get right into this letter. She writes, "Dear Cat, what is a female's definition of a BFF supposed to be? Best friends forever? But I don't think time should dictate how close of a friend you are, because my so-called best friend is mad at me because I'm dating a guy that she talked to almost 10 years ago. But she is never happy for me. I got a new job, went to college, graduated, and all she says whenever I do something good is, I would have done that better. So now that this guy she used to date years ago is new and improved and treats me like a queen, she is really mad at me. But when I was about to marry a man that was beating me, she encouraged me to stick by my man because her man was going upside her head. Now, I did wait 3 months before I told her about me and him just because I didn't know how to really break it down to her. But she has now gone on a campaign against me, telling the world that I have her leftovers and I'm a backstabber. My guy told me to ignore her and just let her be mad, and we'll be back friends shortly and she'll get over it. But I think this is the last straw. I think I'm done with being her friend. Should I try to continue to repair our friendship, even though I'm not leaving him alone and she's constantly hating on me? I don't think I did anything wrong. Do you?"
Oh, good question.
Yes, a couple things.
Okay.
I do.
You think she did something wrong?
I do think she did do some wrong, but I think that she's talking about multiple things here.
Right.
And so I think that they're two separate entities. So first, if we look at the fact that she's dating her BFFs or so-called BFFs, a guy she used to date, that's one separate issue. That's one reason for her friend. Her friend can have feelings about that. But then if you look at the hating and the long-term not being supportive to her as a friend, I think that's where she went wrong. It is not okay for a person to constantly do something to you and for you to never say anything.
So you're saying what she did wrong was not saying anything to a friend. What if this girl was never a friend? I looked up what the definition of a friend is because I'm curious, because sometimes people use the term and you think, what does that mean? Or does it mean something to someone that it doesn't mean to someone else?
Exactly.
So it says in the dictionary, a person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond of mutual affection.
See, that mutual
is the word.
Mutual means a lot. It means a whole lot, because I think that if she was all the time saying, well, when I do something good, you have this to say, or I have feelings about what you're saying to me, or it makes me feel a certain way, then she kind of redirects her friend, but she kind of holds her accountable for what she's saying to her to make her feel bad. So I feel like when we don't redirect someone, we reinforce it. So if I'm having these successes and you're always saying, girl, why you do it like that? Or I would have did it better than that. Or you're not complimenting me, or you're not happy for me, and I never say anything. Well, it kind of encourages you on the back end to do it more. Obviously, if you're saying that, if her friend is saying that, that makes her friend feel good.
And you're the writer is allowing her friend to hurt her and almost co-signing for it because she never
redirects.
I never thought of it that
anything.
way. But I think a lot of people, someone else would listen to you say that and think you're blaming the victim, or she's the victim. And I think a lot of people nowadays don't like taking accountability for allowing people to treat them a certain way.
Yeah, but it's
So
a
do you
way
think
to
that's-
it's a way to redirect. It's a way to give constructive criticism. So it's a way to let someone know that what they're saying or doing affects you. Because in hindsight, you're really giving them the power over your feelings. I'm not going to give somebody else power to have me or make me feel some kind of way, even if it means ignoring. Some people work on ignoring. So
Right.
my friend constantly doesn't support me and doesn't say the things that I need to say that reinforces and make me feel a certain way, and I can ignore them because I'm good. But obviously that bothers her.
And ignoring isn't helping the situation.
Mhm.
Ignoring is actually fueling.
Yeah.
Because now this girl feels there's nothing wrong with it. How does she know she doesn't even like it, really?
How did she know that she doesn't feel like that's a way that we interact with each other?
We're friends. That's how we communicate.
We're friends, and that's, what we do. She does something good. I, could care less because I'm, not happy with whatever it is, or hating, or whatever the case may be. And I go and I contradict it and brush it off, and then we keep going with our lives. But obviously, because she brought that up in this situation, which I feel like these two situations really do have, they don't have anything to do with each other, but they do.
I agree that probably this girl was never a friend.
Yeah.
So had they not had this friendship or so-called friendship, the second
Right.
scenario would have never happened. But I think you brought up a point that now it allows the other girl to feel like the writer is wrong.
Right. And so it makes her in the next situation with the ex guy she used to talk to, makes her even more wrong, because I already have a thought process about you. I'm already hating on you. You go and do this. Hey, you just put gasoline on this fire.
Right.
I'm about to let it blow. But another big thing is identifying and understanding exactly what a friend is to you, because a best friend. So there's a difference between a friend and a best friend. So when you look at, especially when you look at females, you look at a person that is a friend. I have women that I've worked with. I have women that I've gone to church with, that I see on a regular basis, and I would consider friends. We have had conversations about our children. So would you call the woman that is the mother of a kid that your son plays basketball with, is she your friend?
Everyone has different definitions of friends. And as I was reading on Huffington Post, they mentioned that now with social media, a lot more people are expanding their definition of friendship. Because, and when the original things were written about friendship, the social media aspect was not taken into consideration. But I like to still go with the old school version of friendship.
Me too. Because what it does is you go out. Say you go out and you're living your life. Say you're in a social setting and you have a person that comes up to you and they say, hey, I'm so-and-so, whatever, your Facebook friend. And they try to interact with you as if they know you based off of something that they've read on social media. So that does make sense. It really does. And just in case you are just checking in with us, this is the CatTalk show on IntellectualRadio.com. I am Cat, and this is my beautiful co-host, Wanda B. We're talking about, can women be true friends? And we have a letter from one of my DarrCat followers, and she's having an issue with her so-called BFF. She says she always hates on her, and now their recent situation is that she's dating a guy that her friend used to date 10 years ago, and her friend is now really, really mad. So where her friend was hating on her before, her friend is really, really, really hating on her. And I think that we just brought up social media, and social media has definitely diluted the meaning of friend.
But if we go back to the definition that it has to be a mutual affection, I think one of the problems is someone you meet on social media, you don't have a mutual affection. I don't know you, you feel you know me, but are we really friends? And here in this situation, in this article, what she wrote in, I don't feel that was even mutual. Nowhere did they have a mutual affection for each other from the beginning.
Right. So then it goes into time. So if I know someone from first grade, even if it's a cousin, right? Say I know them for a long, long time, and just by default, we happen to know each other for many, many, many years. It doesn't solidify that we're friends. Time does not equal best friend. Just because you have known someone for umpteen years does not mean that that person has a loyalty to you, that they have the same interest as you. People grow, they experience different things. If myself and another woman went to two different schools and our mothers are best friends, we know each other, we're basically forced to be around each other. If I go to school in the suburbs and she goes to school in the inner city, we have just experienced two different things. It's gonna be difficult for us to say, unless we're really working at it, that we are in tune with each other, on the same accord, walking in the same way, and thinking the same to be BFFs. Not that it can't happen. It definitely can happen. But her experiences and my experiences, when it comes down to it, especially if we don't keep it real with one another, they're not going to match up. So time doesn't equal best friendship.
Now, you know, you're going to have a lot of people who don't agree because they definitely feel like I've known them since, so I owe them some form of loyalty just based on time. Based on time, that's been my friend since second grade. But are they a friend to you? Are they really, do they really have a mutual affection for you? Or are they just around for what they can get out of it? And as I looked this up on Huffington Post, it mentioned that over time with friends, you can start sharing, if they're real friends, sharing genes, sharing thought processes. But if, like you said, time has actually made you go in different directions, where are you really growing that connection to stay connected to them?
Absolutely. And then why do you try to bridge that gap with, but I've known them since second grade? People try to hold on to these relationships that are not necessarily cohesive. We're on two different planes of existence. Just because we've known each other since second grade does not make someone your best friend. Just in case you're tuning in, it's the CatTalk Show, IntellectualRadio.com. We are having a really good discussion on women being true friends. And I think that we have to put the women in there. Like the women has to be like highlighted. Because I think guys have different friendships.
Yes.
Than women.
I know. They don't even, it's just different. So we won't even go there. Theirs is totally different.
And if you're following me on Facebook right now, please chime in, give us your thoughts, feelings. Give us, if you're a guy, please give us your definition of what it is when men are friends as opposed to when women are friends. I can speak upon when women are friends. I know that when women are so-called friends, they can still be petty. Like when you have a group of, let's say, 5 or 6 friends, you got 2 that are best friends and you got 2 that, interact with each other one way. And you got that one friend, and when she leaves, everybody at the table talks about, oh girl, you see what she got on. Does that hinder the friendships? Does that dilute it and make it so that it's not like real BFFs? When you look at the real definition of what a best friend is, we share things in common. I'm happy for you when you have successes, and you're equally happy for me. We're on the same page. You don't necessarily have to think alike, but is there a true sense of the word? That is my very, very best friend.
I read a group of psychologists in University of Pennsylvania studied friendship. And one thing they said that I think really fits this is that we're jealous beings by nature.
Yes.
And a lot of friendships sometimes are formed based on alliances. So if you looked at the United States being friends with Saudi Arabia,
right.
I'm friends with you, but I'm also checking out why you friends with somebody else and the benefit to me that, and I'm going to watch other friendships and sometimes be a little jealous of the friendships and things like that, and that there are just different levels to friendships. And is that a BFF, the jealous of you friend? Are they really BFF or alliance?
Yeah, and that makes a huge difference. That's like the difference between a person that you're an associate with and a person that you talk to on a regular basis. Just like I said, am I really friends with the mother of one of my son's teammates? So they play basketball every weekend, and I see her, and we talk to each other. How's the kids going? How you doing? And we might have conversations about the game, but we're not hanging out with each other, and we're not, going to social events. We might not even be social media friends, but at the same time, I do talk to her on a regular basis. Now, if I found out that she worked at a place that I was trying to get a job at, would I try to throw a plug in there and could I assume that she would help me? She's not my friend. I can't ask that of her. Really, I can ask.
You can ask, but you can't expect a result from it. You can't expect that.
And then as a female, because we're jealous beings, is she looking at me like, girl, I'm not gonna let you come to my job and, and look XYZ, or maybe you might upstage me or you do the same job as I do. Or am I looking at her and saying, well, she didn't help me, so she a hater?
I think one thing this comes up so much for me in different topics when we talk about any form of relationship. Being secure with yourself is so important. So important, because every other relationship you create, when you're not secure in yourself, really plays a part in it. And the insecurities, the jealousies you have come out when you're not secure in yourself.
Absolutely.
So it's hard to form relationships with other women if you're not secure in yourself.
Absolutely. It's going to be really hard for me to be happy for you graduating in a situation with the writer. She wants her friend to be happy for her with successes in jobs and men and XYZ. And that's not going to happen, because obviously she's not having those things. Now, if she really wants to repair this relationship with her friend and be friends with her, she could encourage her to have some of those successes and show her how to be a good friend by just modeling it and being that kind of friend to her. That's what she could do.
I have someone on Facebook that said, Arian said, misery loves company. She's not your BFF, nor are you hers. So just leave that situation alone. Go forward in your life and focus on your own life.
I love that. And I'm going to get right to that after I say, if you're just joining the CatTalk show on IntellectualRadio.com, we are discussing, can women be true friends? One of the my Facebook followers, thank you for posting, just said, she's not your BFF and you're not hers. And I think that's important. That goes right back to you dating a guy that she used to date. Typically, I think there are unwritten rules when it comes to friends and dating and things like that. And ex-whatevers, talking to buddies, friends with benefits, ex-boyfriends, typically I think that they're off limits. They are. But because you're not her friend either, you feel this way about her. She obviously has some feelings against you. You all really are not friends. So you really didn't take a second thought. This woman did not take a second thought.
It's almost like a retaliation, probably.
Yes,
it is kind of like getting back at her. See, subconsciously. I know she may not be totally going out saying, well, but she finds nothing wrong with it, because deep down inside, all those digs she's been given over the years have left marks. I mean, she's walking around with a bruised, dented up ego from this relationship, and now she has the perfect thing to get slapped back. It's almost passive aggressive.
It's very passive aggressive.
Instead of just talking to her, like you said from the beginning, like, I don't like when you do this, this, or this. Now when the time comes that she can do something to get back at her, she does it.
Right. And so the girl retaliates the way she always does.
Right.
You can't possibly be surprised that she retaliated with calling you a traitor or a backstabber or whatever it is that she called her, and saying, oh, you picked up her leftovers, because you gave her that fuel. She has always been behaving this way to you. She has never given you any positive feedback on anything concerning you. Why would she be happy that you're happy with a guy that she used to date that obviously wasn't good to her? So you picked him up, and whatever it is that you did, maybe it was you. Maybe she promoted or provoked him to be a good man to her, but that's happening for you, and that didn't happen for her. So that kind of even more reinforces the fact that as the friend, I'm not happy with me. I can't be happy for you. And then you're going to go be with a person that could have made me happy that didn't. And you're going to go and be happy with him. So, I mean, that's that follower, what they wrote was right on. Like, they're not friends. And I think that it's funny because, and here I go quoting my hip hop lines.
I love it. I love it when you do that.
So Drake has a song, and he says that, the girl comes over his house and she asks him for the password Wi-Fi so she can get on her timeline and show him her friends, but they ain't really friends. And it's funny that a man would even point that out because that is true. Like, the word friendship when it comes to females is so super diluted. It like really, really is. That's why I don't even really call my friends. Like, my friends are my sisters, because I think that's a whole different kind of relationship. because I can hate on them to their face, and I can be mad, and I can go in on them, but I can be happy for them, and I can unconditionally love them regardless of what it is that they do, because they're more than they're family. And so I look at them that way.
I agree. I have friends that I actually call my chosen sisters. I chose them. They're in my life. They're just as important to me as my real sisters, because they are there for me. I'm there for them. If they need anything, I'm going to be right there, and I feel the same for them. So we mentioned before, or the girl in the writer mentioned that she was with a man that beat her. Mm-hmm. But this friend actually encouraged her to be with her. What, like, when does this girl ever like step in and do something?
And that's the funny thing. So we're saying I didn't do anything wrong. Well, you did a little bit, but yes, this girl has always been doing wrong. This girl has always been doing you wrong all the time. She hasn't had she hasn't had, from what she's saying, she hasn't had any moments where she's encouraging, doing friendship stuff, especially BFF stuff. Like the BFF stuff is not there. So I think when she mentioned that she encouraged her to be with the guy that beat her, and at the same token, she says her friend was with the guy that was beating on her. Oh. And sometimes, especially women, we tend to click with people because we are having the same issues, or we agree on the same things. Birds of a feather flock together. That statement was made for women. That statement was made for women because that's kind of what we do. So people think, but we kind of like make that up. So if I'm doing something wrong and you're encouraging my bad behavior, I'm probably going to click with you. If our other friend is like, no, you shouldn't do that, that's not a good thing, we're probably going to click up and talk about her like a dog.
And sometimes the woman will pull away from the woman who doesn't tell her what she wants to hear.
Absolutely.
She gets it makes her feel a certain kind of way, or misery loves company. So that the company over here with the one who's co-signing and the one that's saying, I wouldn't do that, you start getting angry because she forces you to do something different. So you don't even want to deal with her half the time, because then you really do have to make a change in your life. She's reflecting and you pull away from her, then you don't like her anymore. So I agree.
And I think at the end of the day, when you're a friend with someone, especially us women, you got to kind of get in your head, settle in your head that people are going to do exactly what they want to do. Period, point blank. I can't recall a time when someone's come to me, even if they've come to me 15 times, and any of my sisters that are listening to this, they come to me 15 times. I usually am very raw. Now, I'm not going to lie about that.
I love that part about you. I always do that. If you would please be a part of Catherine James, her Cat Talk, because if the questions come in, the writers write in, and the beauty of it is that you always go raw. Your readers do too, but that you always give honest, raw opinions.
I am. And if you're just tuning in to Cat Talk on IntellectualRadio.com, we're talking about, can women truly be friends? We have a writer that wrote me in a DarrCat letter, and they're telling us some issues that they're having with a particular so-called BFF. The girl hates on her constantly, but now we really feel like in retaliation, she's dating a guy that she used to date, and now she's hating on her some more, like she always does. So, but when people bring things to me, I try to make sure that I'm kind of raw first, but then I'm blunt, but then I come back with softness, because I don't do the softness, but with why. This is the way it is. It's like this, but this is why. And maybe you can do something different. Now, if a person comes to me and says, a guy says, oh, he's doing XYZ, and I say, well, if you do this, he's going to do that. The reality of it is not, just the reality. But then if she says, well, but I love him and I just got to make this work. Okay, well, then let's figure out how to do that.
Right.
And it's no judgment. And I would very rarely, like 99% of the time, never tell a woman, oh, leave him. He's, because women do exactly what they want to do. I don't care if they do it up front and in public, if they do it behind closed doors, if they pretend to do it, if they find somebody to link up with them and they agree with them to do it. If they get no people on board with what they're doing, then they will get in their mind, it's me against the world. They're still going to do whatever it is that they decide they want to do.
I want to read a comment by Danielle Williams, who is one of our faithful cat talkers.
Hey, Danielle.
Hey, Danielle. The fact that she has never been encouraging or congratulatory says a lot. Any man that happened any man that happened in high school or older is not considered an ex, and something that happened or didn't happen 10 years ago doesn't count. Move on, young lady, and continue being happy. This young lady does not know how to be a friend, and she is trying to make you feel bad about your accomplishments. Life will be so much better without her in it. Continue to move around the country.
Now, that's great. That's great. And I'm going to tell you a couple reasons why it's great. First reason why that's great is because 10 years is a long, long time. And that man is a totally different person. I mean, that man is different. Whatever that man didn't do for that woman and it wasn't to her, he's a different person. She should let that go. As a friend, I would be like, girl, who?
Who 10 years ago? Who? What?
Yeah.
I don't want him. Go ahead.
So then you know that her friend is just being petty. I still think there's some, ill intent on saying, I don't care, I'm going to date him. Just the fact that she's waited 3 months to tell her, what was going on, because you kind of knew that your friend is a hater. And you kind of knew that when you brought it to her, she was going to have something negative to say. She wasn't going to be like, oh, girl, good. I'm so glad he treated me like crap, but I'm glad he's treating you nice. You knew that wasn't going to happen. So you waited. So that, the fact that she's not forthcoming with her feelings or things that she's doing makes her wrong. Okay, I get that. But another thing, reread the bottom part.
That's
something else that she said.
And well, I wanted to point out something that you said when that them being that not considered an ex and something that happened or didn't happen 10 years ago doesn't count. I believe if they were truly friends in the beginning, then she'd know that didn't count or did count.
Yes.
And that's the part that even exemplifies that they were not friends, because this 10-year relationship means nothing to her. And you could come to her and say, girl, I'm having some feelings for so-and-so. Remember him? Or you could actually talk that out if you truly were friends.
This is so true. Okay, so I'm going to give you a small scenario. And I usually don't interject myself or my personal experiences and things, but this is a funny story. And so any of my sisters that are listening, they know this story, and they will either laugh or say, why did you say that? So I have my BFF, one of my sisters, and she dated Kanye West before he was Mr. Yay. So the running joke is, if we run into him, hey, he tried to talk to one of us, we gonna talk to him. And it's always been a funny joke, but we never would. Why? Because I know her, and there's no way in the world that she's gonna be with Kanye before he was Yay, and then I get him now. And it didn't work then. I just know that. I know that. And if I do anything other than that, if any of my friends do anything other than say, you know what, it's nice. And I promise you, he might not even remember my friend, to be completely honest. But just the fact that it's going to mean something to her, I would never do that.
And with my chosen sisters, the reason they're not with them, I wouldn't even want to go back there, because I already know why they're not with them anymore. We've been friends over 30 years. So I know why you weren't with that guy 10 years ago. And I don't even want to be bothered with him. My chosen sisters make smart decisions. And if they're not with him, there is one big reason. He may have even changed, but I don't even care to find out, really.
Yeah.
I just don't want him.
And I think sometimes when people are upset, it's good to know why they feel the way they do. Then you can handle situations better. And so I think that she would have really benefited from the first time her friend made her feel a certain kind of way. It would give them a closer bond. They really would be best friends then.
Or they wouldn't be friends at all.
Yep.
Or she would still say, you're not going to change this the way I am, girl, and take me or leave me. Right. I'm just being honest. You can't take honest feedback. And maybe then she'd say, you know what, she's not going to be my friend.
And I think that's the second part of what Danielle posted. What she said is you'd probably be better off not being her friend. And I don't know why people have a hard time when it comes to that. We've been friends since second grade, that long-term friendship, relationship, whatever it is, just being okay with the fact that you are not going to get along with everyone, and everyone cannot have a consistent part of your life. And it's okay.
It's okay. And even if they did at one point, even if you actually did have a closeness with them, but let's say that was 10 years ago, and now you've married, went on, had children, they're still single or something, and then you realize that our lives are it's okay to make a new definition of friendship with this particular person. There are levels to this, as they say, and that friendship is different.
It is, and I think that's important that people need to look at is the different levels of friendship. So, like the woman, my son's friend's mom at the basketball, we might have a friendship. She can't borrow my clothes. We're not going out for drinks. And I'll take the bet.
Can I borrow that outfit afterwards? Let me see if I'm really her friend.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ask her for some money, and she can't have any of mine. Now, if I go to the concession stand, I might get her water. Girl, you said you was thirsty. Here you go. But at the same time, I'm not gonna be like, you know what? I gotta move out of my apartment next week. Can me and the kids come stay with you? Yeah, she is an associate friend. She's a friend on
an alliance.
Yeah,
U.S. and Saudi Arabia.
Absolutely. She's not that kind of friend. So it's just different levels to friendship. And sometimes time does play a part in it. And sometimes time plays a negative part in it because you have friends that you don't even see often. And they just are. They're different. Like I said, if I go to school in the suburbs and you go to school in the inner city, when we link up, we have to really work at having that common ground to be friends with one another. I think being friends with someone is different than when you're in a relationship, like a love relationship with somebody. So they say opposites attract. And that's sometimes true, but it's mostly true in relationships. I will put forth the compromise for somebody that I have romantic feelings about versus you. I'm not going to compromise with the fact that Wanda keeps smacking when she eats her food. It's getting on my nerves. I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's so cute. I just like when she does it. I'm gonna say, girl, that is very annoying. Can you stop? And she's either going to say, you know what, I'm gonna stop because I don't want to bug you, or no, I am a grown woman and this is the way I eat and I can eat that way. Now we have to be able to have enough thought process about each other to say that we're going to agree to disagree, or we're gonna, or guess what? I'm not going to eat with Wanda no more, so it don't even matter.
And that's okay.
And it's okay.
We have to be okay with the relationships we create with people. My daughter told me once, I said, well, what about someone at school? And she said, Mommy, I never invited her to my house. And I said, what does that have to do with anything? And she said, well, that means she's not my friend if I wouldn't invite her to my house. And I thought that was just the coolest thing for a little girl to say at 9. I was like, that really makes sense. If that could be the parameter to determine if this person's, would you invite them to your home? If not, you're probably not friends with them, really.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you said that because it does need to start. It's like, it does need to start young. My daughter has seen me be friends with the women that I am friends with. And so it does translate, and it makes a difference in the type of friend that she is and the friends that she has and how she interacts. And she comes back to me now at 19 like, Ma, she said this and they did that. And I say, hey, I told you, that's how women are.
Exactly. I read that at age of 9 months, we already understand the concept of friendship, even at 9 months.
I would agree with that because we get the understanding of mutualism. I give you, you give me. This is what I get from them.
Every time I see you, you give me, this particular person gives me something. Yeah, and I'm smiled. How do they make you feel? That brings up.
If you're just tuning in, this is CatTalk show on IntellectualRadio.com, and we're talking about, can women be true friends? And I have a woman that wrote me in on a DarrCat letter about her and her friend and a little tiff that they're having, so-called best friends. And she kind of is searching for the definition of what a best friend is. And she's having some issues where the friend is hating on her. And then she's dated her friend's ex, I guess, boyfriend 10 years ago. Come on now. And I don't know how old they are because it could be 10 years, 7th, 8th grade.
That's true. 10 years could be. It's the way they sound. It sounds like they could be sort of young. I don't mean that. If you're not, don't take that the wrong way, but it does sound that way. We have a reader, Shay Bull, and if I mispronounce anyone's name, please forgive me. We sorry. Wow. Was in a similar situation. My daughter's mom thought it was funny to entice me to date one of her best friends. She figured she wasn't my type. Okay, how would she know what my type was? She and I dated in 1994. The crazy part was her best friend and I actually hit it off. She got mad after she found out, but her sarcastic butt is who hooked us up in the first place.
Now, I'm going to take one thing out of that. People don't usually want to let people change. And if I knew you when we were 5, I have to have allowed you to grow to be 25 and 35 and 45. And I cannot hold you to the same standards that we had when we were 10, when we were spit sisters and we shared our hot flaming hots together, because I cannot hold you to that. I have to be able to understand that you are different. And the fact that first of all, your baby's mother is bogus for that. She set herself up.
She set herself up.
And so however she wind up feeling, that's on her. Good for her. That's what she gets. That being said, she doesn't know how her friend might be or interact with him. She doesn't know. Women are way different with each other than they are when they with their men.
That's true. They're a different person. And
person.
You think, I don't know what she thought the outcome would be, that they would hook up and not hit it off. Let me tell you,
a man will break up a female friendship in 2.5 seconds. Say something wrong about my man, talk against him, look at him like you want him. Girl, we is not friends no more. And that's just period, point blank. And so
even if they don't want them, they'll still be mad.
They'll still be mad. That's the number. It's funny. I just heard this from a couple girls talking, that they were talking about a situation in high school. And the girl said, well, I didn't like her, so I dated her boyfriend. And it doesn't make sense, but in girl world, it's like, oh, you don't like me? Okay, don't worry about it. Your boyfriend just tried to talk to me. Watch this. And then and go in on somebody's boyfriend. I saw that a lot in high school.
I think that's actually what's happening here in this situation with the writer, that she saw the ex-boyfriend. There was an opportunity, the way the so-called BFF made her feel, to go in on this guy that she probably knew her friend would get mad about it. And it's almost, women do that. I don't know why.
It makes them feel good, or they think it will. I mean, a lot of the emotional, intentional actions, especially of women, they do it with the intentions of feeling better. I feel not happy about myself. I feel ugly today. I feel angry at the world because I'm not a doctor, or I'm not a lawyer, or I don't have the kind of man I want. I'm not married to P. Diddy. So guess what? I'm going to do all these different things to try to make me feel good. And that's their intention. Their intention is to make themselves feel good. And in this situation where she decided to hook her friend up with her baby daddy, like usual, it backfired in her face. Hey, just be cool.
So with our writer, what should she do next?
She should either just stop talking to the girl, but she definitely should just tell her how she feels. Even writing someone else to ask how she should handle this or what she should feel is still not okay, because you need to be telling this girl. So if this girl is dead coming for you saying, hey, she's a backstabber and she's a this and that, that is open doorway, not to go off and go in. Oh, you just mad and jealous of me? With friendship, love, and sisterhood, say, you know what? For many years, you have been making me feel like this. And she has to acknowledge, though, that you are dating someone that she used to date that did not treat her appropriately and is now treating you right. Just for having a human being care, you got to care that bothers her. And she has to acknowledge that, but she has to talk to her. After that, she don't got to say nothing else to her.
And I need you, because I think she may not have the language to use. So listen exactly to what Kat said. Use those same words. Practice it in your head. Go in front of your mirror and say those words to her. It's time to say that, and then do what Danielle said and move around the country.
Yeah, because you don't have to have people in your life that do not make you feel good. I mean, life is too short to be around people that don't uplift you or make you feel happy or compliment you. I have friends that I might just be sitting back doing nothing, and I'm going to put a call in. You know what? And my sisters do it to me. You know what? I haven't seen you. I need to see you. I miss you. I love you. I saw you on Facebook. You look beautiful. Every time I'm done with this show, I get it. You did a great job. You are beautiful. You just look great today. Those things, they're necessary. That's how we stay connected. And if somebody is making a disconnection with you and your happiness, you got to get rid of it.
And you need to somewhere now, at the same time, when you let her go, do some affirmations for yourself, because I do think the writer may not feel as good about herself.
Yeah.
And that's why she's allowing people to treat her this way. And who's to say even this new relationship is as good for her as she thinks? I mean, is this something she sees because of all this situation as being good? Sometimes it's very hard for someone to go to being with an abusive person to finding Mr. Right right away when you're not used to being treated correctly. And I really think she needs to do a lot of self-affirmations, telling herself she's beautiful, telling herself she needs this.
And I'll definitely say this last point, very important, because it seems like the writer is doing this. Do not let this man be the reason why you and this girl stop being friends.
Yeah.
You're speaking out on it now, and the writer really tried to relate the hating with the man. Two different things. Don't let this man be the reason why you don't tell your friend what you need to tell her. Mend that relationship, because you're sticking with her and friends for some reason, and it's got to be more than time. Because usually when a person is really, really overbearing or getting on your nerves, you do pull away from them, but you haven't done that. So don't let this man be the reason why, and this relationship that you think might be so great, may or may not be. I hope that it is, but don't let this man be the reason why you don't put forth the effort with your friend. That's like really, really important. And that was the show, Cat Talk Live. Wanda, I think it was a beautiful show. I appreciate you, Wanda B, my co-host.
Hey.
Cat Talk on IntellectualRadio.com. We are here every Sunday at 2 p.m. Make sure you check us out. Make sure you check me out on Facebook on DarrCat or my page, Catherine James. See you next week.
All right.
I didn't know what to say. The way you hypnotized, enticed me. You nearly took my breath away.